Dear friends, Sir Handel Brown is the owner of a little railway which goes to Skarloey and Rheneas. Skarloey means lake in the woods, and Rheneas means divided waterfall. They are beautiful places, and lots of people visit them. The owner is very busy, so Mr. Peter Sam, the thin controller, manages the railway. The two engines, who are called Skarloey and Rheneas, grew old and tired, so the owner bought two others. The stories tell you what happened. The author. The fat controller had sent Edward to the works to be mended. Near the workstation, Edward noticed a narrow-gauge engine standing in an open-sided shed.
That's Skarloey. What's he doing here?
He remembered Skarloey and his brother Rheneas, because in the old days, he had often brought passengers who wanted to travel up to the lake in their little train. As the men at the works could not mend him at once, Edward asked them to put him on a siding close to Skarloey. Skarloey was pleased to see Edward.
Hello, Edward. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Skarloey.
What are you doing here? You don't usually come to this part of the island.
Well, it's actually quite a story. Some boys were messing around with James the Red Engine, and he became a runaway. I chased after him with an inspector and a coil of wired rope, and eventually slowed him down. The boys were thankfully caught, and the fat controller kindly sent me to be mended. Hopefully the others will treat me with some respect.
Indeed, you're very lucky that you can get repaired.
Quite right. So, how have things been lately?
The owner has just brought two more engines. He told me I was a very old engine and deserved a rest. He gave me this shed so that I could see and figured not to be lonely. But I am lonely all the same. I miss Rheneas very much. Yesterday, one of the new engines pushed him on a truck, and now he's gone to be mended.
Goodbye, old friend.
Goodbye, Rheneas. Safe travels.
I'll be back before you know it. Take care.
I hope so. I wish I could be mended too, and pull coaches again.
Have your coaches got names?
Oh yes. There's Agnes, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima and Beatrice. Agnes is proud. She has cushions for first-class passengers. She pities Ruth, Lucy and Jemima, who are third-class, with bare boards. But all four sniff at Beatrice. Beatrice often smells of fish and cheese, but she is most important.
And why's that?
She has a little window through which the guard sells tickets. I sometimes leave the others behind, but I always take Beatrice. You must have tickets and a guard.
Of course.
Rheneas and I used to take turns at pulling the trains. We know everybody and everybody knows us. We'd whistle to the people in the fields at level crossings, in lonely cottages and farms. And the people always waved at us. We loved passing the school playgrounds at break time. And then the children will always run over to the fence to watch us go by. The passengers always wave because they think the children are waving to them. But we engines know better, of course.
Yes, we do indeed.
We take your tourists to the lake. And then get ready to pull the train back. We enjoy the morning journey home, because then our friends from the villages come down to do their shopping. We whistle before every station. Beep beep, look out! And the people are there ready. Where's Mrs. Last? Asked the guard. She's coming. Beep beep, we whistle. And Mrs. Last comes running onto the platform. We'll leave you behind one of these days, missus, laughs our driver, but we know he never will. stop elsewhere too. At farm crossings and stiles, where paths lead to lonely houses. Renes and I know all the places very well indeed, and our driver used to say that we would stop even if he didn't put on the brakes. Sometimes on market day, Ruth, Lucy and Jemima were so full of people that the guard would allow third-class passengers to travel in Agnes. She didn't like that at all.
Edward chuckled.
No, I'm sure she didn't.
She would grumble. First-class coach, third-class people. That made me cross. Shut up, I'd say, or I'll bump you. That soon stopped her rudeness to my friends.
Just then, some workmen came.
We're going to Mentry now, Edward. Come along.
Goodbye, Scarloey. Thank you for telling me about your railway. It's a lovely little line.
It is. Thank you for talking to me, Edward. You've cheered me up. Goodbye.
Scarloey watched Edward being taken back to the works. Then, shutting his eyes, he dozed in the warm afternoon sun. He smiled as he dozed. He was dreaming, as old engines will, of happy days in the past. Later that day, when he woke up, he saw the two new engines standing outside the sheds. They looked very smart.
Scarloey, this is Sir Handel and Peter Sam. They will be helping out with the work on the railway. Please make them feel welcome.
Of course, sir.
What a small shed. This won't do at all.
Well, I think it's nice.
What's that rubbish?
Shush, shush. That's Scarloey, the famous old engine. Oh, I'm sorry, Scarloey. Sir Handel's upset now, but he's quite nice, really.
Scarloey felt sorry for Peter Sam.
I understand.
How improper.
And with that, Sir Handel sulked off to sleep. Next morning, the firemen arrived.
Now, Sir Handel, we'll get you ready for today.
I'm tired. Let Peter Sam go. He'd love it.
No. Orders, orders. You first.
Oh, well, I suppose I must.
When his driver arrived, Sir Handel puffed away to fetch his coaches.
Whatever next? Those aren't coaches. They're cattle trucks.
Oh, what a horrid engine.
It's not what I'm used to.
Sir Handel then clanked away towards the station. He rolled to the platform just as Gordon arrived.
Hello there. Who are you? Oh, I'm Gordon. Who are you? I'm Sir Handel. Oh, yes, I've heard of you. You're an express engine, I believe. Well, so am I, but I'm used to bogie coaches, not these cattle trucks. Do you have bogie coaches? Oh, yes, I see you do. We must chat sometime. Sorry I can't stop. Must keep time, you know.
And he puffed off, leaving Gordon at a loss for words.
Well, I never.
Sir Handel trundled up the line with the coaches in tow behind him.
Come along, come along!
Cattle trucks, we'll pay him out.
Presently, they stopped at a station. The line curved here and began to climb. It was not very steep, but the day was misty and the rails were slippery. The coaches whispered to each other.
Hold back, hold back, hold back, hold back, hold back.
They giggled as Sir Handel started and their couplings tightened.
Come on, come on!
Sir Handel puffed as his wheels slipped on the greasy rails.
Come on, come on, come on, come on!
His wheels were spinning, but the coaches pulled him back, and the train stopped on the hill beyond the station.
I can't do it, I can't do it! I'm used to sensible bogie coaches, not these bumpy cattle trucks!
He's done it again.
The guard came up.
I think the coaches are up to something.
I'm not surprised. These things don't know how to behave.
They decided to bring the train down again to a level piece of the line to give Sir Handel a good start. The guard helped the firemen put sand on the rails, and Sir Handel made a tremendous effort. The coaches tried to drag him back, but he puffed and pulled so hard that they were soon over the top and away on their journey. The thin controller was severe with Sir Handel that night.
You are a troublesome engine. You are rude, conceited, and much too big for your wheels. Next time I shall punish you severely.
But, sir, it was those coaches that held me back and made me late. It wasn't my...
No tales. That may be true, but you're the one who started calling them cattle trucks in the first place.
Sir Handel was impressed and behaved well for several days. Then, one morning, he took the train to the top station. He was cross. It was Peter Sam's turn, but the thin controller had made him go instead.
We'll leave the coaches and fetch some trucks in the quarry.
Trucks? Trucks?
Yes, trucks.
Sir Handel jerked forward.
I won't, so there!
He lurched, bumped, and stopped. His driver and fireman got out.
Told you!
Sir Handel had pushed the rails apart and settled down between them. They telephoned the thin controller. He came up at once with Peter Sam and brought some workmen in a truck. Then he and the fireman took Peter Sam home with the coaches, while the driver and workmen put Sir Handel back on the rails. Sir Handel did not feel so pleased with himself when he crawled home and found the thin controller waiting for him.
You are a very naughty engine. You will stay in the shed till I can trust you to behave.
And he sternly walked away, leaving Sir Handel in disgrace and with a lot to think about. As Sir Handel was shut up for the foreseeable future, Peter Sam had to run the line. He was excited, and the fireman found it hard to get him ready.
Sober up, can't you?
What?
Just keep calm and don't get all excited.
Anyone would think that he wanted to work.
More respectable engines too. I wish I could work myself. Keep calm, Peter Sam. Don't get excited, and you'll do very well.
But Peter Sam was in such a state that he couldn't listen. When his driver came, Peter Sam ran along to fetch the coaches.
Beep, 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 beep! Come along, girls.
Even though he was excited, he remembered to be careful.
That's the way, my dears. Gently does it.
What did he say?
Jemima was deaf and couldn't hear very well.
He said, "Come along, girls," and he called us dears. Really, one does not know what to think. Such a handsome young engine, too. So nice and well-mannered.
And they tittered happily together as they followed Peter Sam, leaving behind Skarloey and Sir Handel, amused.
Well, looks like the coaches like Peter Sam.
Don't remind me. I swear he'll come apart one of these days. I mean, just look at his jittering and bouncing.
At least he does his work like a normal engine, unlike you.
What do you mean I'm not normal?
Skarloey just laughed. Meanwhile, Peter Sam fussed into the station to find Henry already there.
This won't work, youngster. I can't be kept waiting. If you are late tonight, I'll go off and leave the passengers behind.
Secretly, though, Peter Sam was a little worried, but he couldn't feel worried for long.
What fun it all is.
He let off steam happily, while he waited for the guard to blow his whistle and wave his green flag. Peter Sam puffed happily away, singing a little song.
I'm Peter Sam, I'm running this line. I'm Peter Sam, I'm running this line.
The people waved as he passed the farms and cottages, and he gave a loud whistle at the school. The children all ran to see him puffing by. Agnes, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima, and Beatrice enjoyed themselves too.
He's cocky, truck, truck, but he's nice. Truck, truck, he's cocky, truck, truck, but he's nice. Truck, truck.
They sang as they trundled along. They were growing very fond of Peter Sam. Every afternoon, they had to wait an hour at the station by the lake. The driver, the fireman, and the guard usually bought something from the refreshment lady and went and sat in Beatrice. The refreshment lady always came home on this train. Time passed slowly today for Peter Sam. At last, his driver and fireman came.
Beep, beep! Hurry up, please!
The passengers came strolling back to the station. Peter Sam was sizzling with impatience.
How awful! If we miss Henry's train, the passengers will be stuck here.
The last passengers arrived. The guard was ready with his flag and whistle. The refreshment lady walked across the platform. Then it happened. The guard says that Peter Sam was too impatient. Peter Sam says he was sure he heard a whistle. Anyway, he started.
Come quickly! Come quickly!
Stop, stop, stop! You've left her behind! You've left her behind!
The guard whistled and waved his red flag. The driver, looking back, saw the refreshment lady shouting and running after the train.
Stop! Stop! Wait for me!
Oh, bother! We'll miss Henry now.
The refreshment lady climbed into Beatrice, and they started again.
We're sure to be late. We're sure to be late.
Peter Sam's driver had to keep checking him.
Steady, old boy. Steady.
Peter Sam whistled at all the stations.
Hurry! Please, hurry!
They reached the big station just as Henry steamed in.
Hurrah! We've got him after all!
And he let off steam with relief.
Not bad, youngster.
The refreshment lady shook her fist at Peter Sam.
What do you mean by leaving me behind?
Oh, I'm sorry, refreshment lady, but I was worried about our passengers.
And he told her what Henry had said. The refreshment lady laughed.
You silly engine! Henry wouldn't dare go. He's got to wait. It's a guaranteed connection.
Well, now where's that Henry?
But Peter Sam was too late that time, for Henry had chortled away. When he returned to the sheds, the thin controller was waiting for him.
Well, Peter Sam, I heard you had a little incident with leaving behind the refreshment lady.
Yes, sir, but it was that Henry.
Regardless of whose fault it was, I hope this won't happen again.
No, sir, I won't.
That's a good engine.
Fancy being tricked by a bigger engine and leaving behind the refreshment lady.
Puh! It was that Henry. And anyhow, you're still stuck in the shed.
All right, you two, that's enough. Don't worry about it, Peter Sam. We all make mistakes. Now then, we should be getting some rest now.
Sir Handel stayed shut up for several days and grew bored.
I hate just sitting around like this. Even doing work is more fun than this.
Now you know how I feel.
Well, don't flatter yourself, Scarlowy.
One market day, however, Peter Sam couldn't work. The thin controller came to see him.
I'm afraid you can't go out today.
Why not?
You need repairs after all this non-stop work lately.
But what about my trains?
The thin controller turned around and walked towards Sir Handel.
After being shut up for a week, have you learned your lesson?
Yes, sir.
Good, because you'll need to take the first passenger train of the day.
Sir Handel was glad to come out. He tried to be kind, but the coaches didn't trust him. They were awkward and rude. He even sang them little songs, but it was no use. It was most unfortunate, too, that Sir Handel had to check suddenly to avoid running over a sheep.
He's bumped us. Let's pay him out.
The coaches knew that all engines must go carefully at a place near the big station, but they were so cross with Sir Handel that they didn't care what they did. They surged into Sir Handel, making him lurch off the line. Luckily, no one was hurt. Sir Handel limped to the shed. The thin controller inspected the damage.
No more work for you today. Bother those coaches. We must take the village people home and fetch the tourists, all without an engine.
What about me, sir?
Scarlowy, can you do it?
I'll try.
The coaches stood at the platform. Scarlowy advanced on them, hissing crossly.
I'm ashamed of you. Such behaviour. You might have hurt your passengers on market day, too.
We're sorry, Scarlowy. We didn't think. It's that Sir Handel. He's...
No tails. I won't have it. And don't you dare try tricks on me.
No, Scarlowy. Of course not, Scarlowy.
Scarlowy might be old and have dirty paint, but he was certainly an engine who would stand no nonsense. His friends crowded round. and the guard had to shoo them away before they could start. Skarloey felt happy. He remembered all the gates and stiles where he had to stop and whistled to his friends. The sun shone and the rails were dry.
This is lovely.
But presently, they began to climb, and he felt short of steam.
Oh, bother my tubes.
Take your time, old boy.
Oh, it'll be better downhill.
Pausing for breath at the stations, he gallantly struggled along. After a rest at the top station, Skarloey was ready to start. The coaches ran nicely, but he soon began to feel tired again. His springs were weak, and the rail joints jarred his wheels. Then, with a crack, a front spring broke, and he stopped.
I feel all crooked.
That's torn it. We shall need a bus now for our passengers.
No, I'd be ashamed to have a bus take my passengers. I'll get home or bust.
The thin controller looked at his watch and paced the platform. James and his train waited impatiently, too. They heard a hoarse beep, beep, and groaning, clanging, and clanking. Skarloey crept into sight. He was tilted to one side and making fearful noises, but he continued bravely on.
I'll do it. I've done it.
He sighed thankfully as the train stopped where James was waiting. James said nothing. He waited for his passengers and then respectfully puffed away.
You did it, Skarloey! Well done, old boy!
Skarloey was too exhausted to reply, but he managed to give a smile. That evening, the owner came to see Skarloey in the shed.
You're right, sir. Old engines can't pull trains like young ones.
The owner smiled.
They can if they're mended, Old Faithful, and that's what's going to happen to you. You deserve it.
Oh, sir.
The next day, Skarloey was given a warm farewell. Edward arrived to take him away, and the owner and Thin Controller, along with Sir Handel and Peter Sam, came to see him off.
Looks like you're getting your wish after all. Eh, Skarloey, old chap?
Indeed, Edward. Indeed.
Goodbye, Skarloey. The line won't be the same without you.
We'll take good care of the railway while you're gone. Don't you worry a bit.
Farewell, Old Faithful. Safe travels.
Goodbye, everyone.
And with that, Edward puffed away with Skarloey into the distance. Sir Handel was longing for Skarloey to come back. He thinks Skarloey is the best engine in the world. He does his fair share of the work now, and the coaches never play tricks on him, because he always manages them in Skarloey's way.